Or you're telling me your body is your enemy? You're telling me your body is your opponent? You've abandoned the truth right there. You've overthrown the simple fact that your body is the visibility and tangibility of your individuality and is incapable of functioning at odds with you, at odds with your being. Oh, but if you see it as an opponent, you're going to feel the need to protect yourself against it. When you see it as an opponent, you're sending messengers out that say, you're not my ally. Oh, but if your body is the visibility and tangibility of your individuality, and you send out negative messages to it, aren't you going to find messengers coming back saying, yes, it is your enemy, yes. When you attack it, and you defend yourself against it, aren't you going to see your body defending itself against your definition of it as an opponent? Aren't you expressing self-protection? Aren't you being unkind? How can you expect not to apparently see unkindness coming back? That's the messengers you sent out to gather information and come back to you confirming what they were sent out to find. You see? Now, if your body is the visibility and tangibility of your individuality, then it is incapable of acting at odds with you. All it can do is reflect the truth about you. And so when you send out messages saying, it's my enemy, it's doing this or it's doing that, and scaring me, as though it could do something on its own which is impossible, and those messages come back, it doesn't mean that your body has actually acted at odds with its purpose, which is to identify you perfectly. But it means that your conflicted mindset that sent out the messengers is unable to see the truth temporarily because it's conflicted. Now you set aside the fear, you remember that your body is the visibility and tangibility of your individuality, which is utterly divine. You remember that and make commitment to the truth that states, and abandon fear, and then you become unconflicted, and that's the messenger you're sending out. You're sending out, my body has a divine intent to identify me perfectly, and that divine intent was set in place by God, and it can't change. Wow, what a messenger to be sending out. And what can possibly return to you but confirmation? Abandon fear immediately. It is not useful, and indeed, as long as you indulge in it, you are operating mentally in a conflicted state that will distort reality. distort your experience of the truth about your body. It's inevitable. You have no choice about it. So stop being afraid of your body and start being afraid of how you're using your mind, because at least you'll have the attention in the right place where change can occur. And then you decide how you're going to use your mind. Which messengers are you going to send out, and which messengers are you not going to entertain in the form of fearful ideas? And be strict about it. Be committed about it. And you know what? Don't be committed about it so you can get rid of the awful stuff. Be committed about it because you want to be unconflicted so that you can enjoy fully being in Montana. And any other place you might happen to visit. And so that you can enjoy those you will meet and be with. That's the reason to choose not to be conflicted. Not so you can get rid of bad things, but so that you're not distracted from experiencing the good things that are the only thing happening. Okay.
Lenny asks, I've been reading A Course of Love, the complete course, and find it profound. I feel it's coming from the same source, with a capital S, as the Course. In many ways, it seems like your spirit, Raj. Do you know of this book, and can you expound on it? Thank you for everything. Lenny.
Of course I'm aware of it. The question is, when you read it, does it remind you of who you are? And does it support you in making commitment to what you are and behaving as what you are? Does it bring the focus of attention back to you and how you are using your mind in such a way that facilitates your actually learning? If it does, read it, value it, and do the learning. And if reading Grimm's fairy tales does the same thing for you, read it. You know what? It's not so important who or what the source of the book is as what mind you're reading the book with. Because I'll tell you something. Hundreds of thousands of people are reading A Course in Miracles and are impressed with the idea that I am the one who dictated it to Helen, and therefore I am the source of the words. And they don't engage in any learning at all. So, I'm not going to waste my time comparing the books rating the books. If you were undefended enough, you could pick up a rock at the side of the road and contemplate it and wake up. And it won't have anything to do with a who's who. It will only have to do with you wanting to know the truth enough to be undefended with whatever's in your face. For those who read the Course and learn nothing, it is a useless book, and who wrote it is irrelevant. Right? So let's keep our feet on the ground. And keep our attention on the learning. And if you're not getting what you want, and you're reading the Course while you're not getting what you want, then you need to look in another direction. I'll tell you something else. Everyone, if you're excited about the Course, you're missing the point. I'll tell you something else. Learning the Course is gratifying, but it's not fun. Stretching your boundaries, stretching your limits, expanding the territory of your tent requires growth, change. And if you're intent upon learning and you do what allows change to occur, you will not walk around being excited about the Course, whether it's a Course in Miracles or a Course in Love. But I'll tell you something else. You'll be able to speak about the Course from a very grounded, practical place that will have much more benefit when you share about it with others. Because they'll hear the ring of experience in your voice. Which will have a stability to it, because that's what comes of experience. When you get down to the actual learning, it doesn't matter who dictated it. It doesn't matter who scribed it. It doesn't matter who published it. Why? Because what matters is the growth you've experienced and the clearer presence of God that you are, and the less of a contributor to the dream that you are, that blesses all mankind and the whole brotherhood. When you learn, there is a soberness to your presence and to your expression of the truth and to your sharing of whatever value you find or have found in those books. And that's what I have to say about it. Thank you for your question.
The next question is from Judy. Raj, shall Pauline and I pursue the prompt she is feeling to publish the material we have collaborated on? And if so, what portion of it shall we submit to Patrick?
The answer to the first part of your question is absolutely. I want the two of you to that's very sneaky. That is very sneaky. Judy is sitting here in the group, and unlike the rest of you who can't ask a question, she has a laptop. And so she accessed the gathering through the internet and is managing to get a question. You can string her up after the break.
I'm very proud of my Judy. She's very good. Yay for technology.
Just a moment. What I'm going to suggest is that the two of you choose the parts you independently like the best. Write them down and then bring the two lists together. And then, where there is overlap, you select from those together as a mutual process. Okay.
The next question is from Edwin. First of all, I want to thank you for encouraging me to get in touch with my guide. I am trying to hear my guide and want to know if I'm hearing correctly, and if not, what should I do? Is the feeling that comes with the connection a feeling of being loved by someone, and can I thus now know if I'm hearing correctly, if that feeling is also there? And is the name of my guide Maray, M-A-R-A-Y, or Wilma? Thank you, Raj.
I am not going to tell you the name because you need to get that directly from your guide and come to peace about it yourself. Yes, it is accompanied by a feeling of love, because love is what your guide is, and love is what you are. But your guide isn't pretending to have a capacity to be more than love. In other words, a capacity to think and be independently of God, and to introduce things into the universal scheme of things that God isn't introducing into them. And so, always, your experience of your guide will be accompanied by the experience of love, just as it is when you connect with the Father. or when you connect with anyone who is awake, that will always be present. And yes, you can use it as a guideline. Are you hearing correctly? Most of the time. How can you improve? By persisting in it. As I've said before, practice, practice, practice. If you're learning how to fly a plane, each time you go out, it becomes easier because you're more familiar with it and you're less tense and less afraid of what you don't know, and you relax. And the experience of flying becomes more natural. And you're able to be responsive to what is going on without the distraction of the level of concern you have when you don't know how to fly yet, you see. So you persist. Talk frequently. Now, what if the feeling of love isn't there, but you're hearing something, and indeed it sounds like your guide? Persist in the conversation. Very often, you don't feel the love because it's a subtler experience than, let us say, the experience of fear. So, if something is going on that you are discomforted about, you may well be able to hear your guide respond, but not feel the love because, in so many words, it's not as loud as the more visceral experience of fear is. And if you will persist in the conversation, you will begin to relax, and you will find the love emerging in your awareness. Continue, continue, continue. Okay.
The next question is from Micha. The question is, I seem to be at a major crossroads in my life. With finance...
That's interesting. I think a lot of people are feeling that. So what else is new? I'm just meaning, okay, you're at a threshold. You're always at a threshold of discovery. So let's not think of it as a major crossroad in your life. It's just an intersection. It's just an intersection. Whether it's dirt roads and, there are kangaroos running around, or whether it is paved with 120-story buildings built on each corner with taxi cabs moving in both directions. It's just an intersection. You see? It's a place where you can either go straight ahead, or you can turn right, or you can turn left. Doesn't matter how much falderall is going on around it. And everyone stands there every day, all day. You stand at a place of choices. So, just because it's an intersection on Wall Street, rather than an intersection out in the wilderness, it's just a place to make some choices That's all. Okay, continue. Start the question over.
I seem to be at a major crossroads in my life with finances, relationships, family. Is there any advice you can give me today, as sometimes it feels too overpowering? Thank you, Raj.
Yep. Sometimes zeros seem to be little tiny zeros, and sometimes zeros are big, fat zeros. Right? And of course, the big, fat zeros are overwhelming. The little tiny ones, they're cute. You see. But they're just zeros. They're just zeros. A need is always an experience of a threshold in you where breakthrough can occur. You might say that a need is an emptiness ready to be filled. A depression in the ground that the water can run into and fill up. Oh no, but this one is a problem. You see. No, it's an opportunity to watch need shift into need met. It's a sense of limitation in you that you are ready to release so that you're not experiencing limitation there anymore. You might say there are many limitations that all of you are experiencing because you're not awake, but you're not feeling all of them. None of you are feeling the lack of the ability to levitate. It doesn't cross your mind. You don't remember when you could do it and feel the loss. And that's because that's not on your threshold. That's not where the breakthrough is for you today. So, no reason to be overwhelmed by how big the zero is. It's always just an opportunity to say, oh, okay, here is a weak point in my ego structures, which the ego perceives as unnerving, unpleasant, because here's a place where it can lose its foothold with you. And because it's a weak point, all you need to do is to bring the slightest curiosity about what's on the other side of the weak point in the ego's structure. So that you abandon the ego's perspective of a fearful thing occurring completely and bring curiosity into the picture. So you see this big fat zero, and you say, whoa, wonder what's on the other side of that. Wonder what the universe is going to fill that up with. Wonder what the humongous revelation is that's in store with me, for me.